In our median, oops, whoa, that's all right. In our medium estimate, we're looking at about 3 feet by 2,100. So there seems to be a lot of agreement around that number, which may or may not cause your utility some challenges. So that's something for folks to think about. And here, just to show you what some of the tables look like, it also provides data related to percent change, which can also be interesting to look at. So several tables like that. This just shows you the way the climate models were plotted out and how we chose the 3 different scenarios that we provided. So right now there's a second version of the Create tool. There's one on our website now, but we've enhanced it. We're waiting on final website approval, and we're hoping within the next month or so that our version 2.0 will be up and on the website. It's pretty user-friendly, but just in case, we've added some training to it so you can go in the tool and learn how to use it, give you examples. There's sort of preloaded pieces in there for you as well, and it also allows you to look at some of your energy impacts from adaptation measures, which I think is important. Just really quick to highlight for you some of the work we've done in actually implementing or piloting some of these projects. EPA has the National Estuary Program, and we've done 3 pilot projects with these national estuary programs to actually bring utilities together with their watershed partners and to do a Create analysis. We've learned a lot of interesting things here. There's a lot of synergy between the types of things that utilities interested in as that the estuary program is interested in, or their watershed partner. So especially on the wastewater side, we found that if the climate changes in certain ways and that impacts utilities operations, they may discharge more waste into that receiving body. The watershed partners are going to be really interested in that, and they want to be able to help those partners adapt. So really interesting stuff coming out of those, and we're trying to document all of that in reports showing the methodology and the lessons we've learned. We also have a crew toolbox. If you didn't think this was enough, we have this toolbox, which is kind of cool. It has about 600 different resources in it right now, organized by region, by impact, and type of publication. So we have this section that highlights different resources for you by category. So you could click on the islands, and we've sort of tagged resources that might be of particular interest for you if you start to research climate change. I need to make sure the ones that I looked at before this trip are in there. Haven't cross-referenced that yet. So just to give you a look and feel, you can also search the toolbox. It's a little bit different from a Google search type search engine, but it's a pretty powerful type of search matrix here, database foundation there. So you can get resources tailored to your specific impacts. You don't have to sort through all 600 of these resources or just start from scratch. We've tried to really categorize and provide that easy access to resources for you. So just an example of how a search works and what that looks like. So we plan to do a lot of outreach over the next really 9 months. Hopefully you'll receive notice about a webinar series we're going to start to provide a little bit more detail about each one of these projects, and encourage you to attend those and to check out our website. As Alex mentioned, I did pass out some business card sized outreach materials that just have our website on them, so you don't necessarily have to write it down. So I really like this cartoon as well. Why should we plan for climate change? Let's say it doesn't turn out to be. I mean, we're still going to get benefits out of it. So I think there's a lot of a good reason to move forward in adapting to climate change. Probably too small to read, but again, it's on the card, our contact information, and our website. And then I just want to acknowledge that I don't do all these projects myself. We actually have 2 of us who work part-time on this, and we have 2 fellowship employees, and then a great deal of contractor support as well. So really appreciate being able to come here and present. May have set a record for 78 slides in 45 minutes or less. So I understand I moved through a lot of that really quickly, but I wanted to make sure. I think we might have like a minute for questions, and then I think it's lunch, so I don't want to hold you up from eating. So thank you very much. And are there any questions? You guys are all climate experts now, right? You know it all. Yes. I think you're referencing HASIS, perhaps. So HASIS, I don't believe right now currently incorporates climate change information into it. So we have a separate vulnerability assessment tool that's more based on an all hazards disaster perspective, and HASIS was utilized in the development of that. That's the VSAT tool. So there are some similarities between HASIS and the CREATE tool, our climate risk assessment tool, but they're not connected because they're dealing with slightly different topic areas. And I saw another question here. Yes.
My question is, what even did create was a community vulnerability assessment tool in terms of going through communities and identifying where they're at risk, where the vulnerabilities are, creating funding, all that. How does this tool, because what it doesn't do is it does not address utilities vulnerabilities.
Yeah, and that. They're distinct tools, but what our hope is that a utility would be able to use information from the CREATE tool to inform those other maybe community scale vulnerability assessment efforts. So yeah, that's sort of a gap we identified, that you know, the water utility industry didn't have the ability to assess these risks related to climate on their own. And so yeah, I think you know, you get a whole series of reports and outputs from CREATE, and that would enable you to include that information in a larger effort. Okay, any other questions while I'm here? And I'll be around this afternoon, so catch me then too. Okay, great, thank you very much.
That's good enough for EPA time anyway. So why don't we go ahead and get settled in and go ahead and get started with this emergency response track. There's a lot of room up in front. I don't know if people want to move up so that we can, this is going to be pretty interactive, or at least it's meant to be if you have questions and whatnot. So if you come up forward, maybe we can all hear each other better and be able to interact a little better. My name is Marvin Young, and welcome to this afternoon session on emergency preparedness. First of all, I want to thank the Hawaii Department of Health, the Safe Drinking Water Branch. They helped to fund a portion of this conference, and thank you to them, as well as the Honolulu Board of Water Supply for having us be able to have this track, emergency preparedness track, in this afternoon. I assume all of you, or most of you, were in this morning's plenary session where John Whitler actually went over the program, but let me quickly go over it again. We're here from 1 till about 4:30, and we're going to be covering the WARN overview, that Water Wastewater Agency Response Network, and so the acronym is WARN. We'll go over that, then we'll talk about some federal reimbursement, the ABCs of that, and Vern from FEMA will be talking about that with us, and then at the end, we'll have Ray Reardon and Mike Miyahira talking about both the Cal WARN program and then the status of the Hawaii WARN program, where we're at as we try to develop that program. Now, we have time schedules for this, but as we developed the agenda, we had some conference calls and whatnot, and obviously there was the dynamics, the interest in the program changed and whatnot. So while we have some time slots, we can be flexible a little bit, and maybe we'll change up the times a little bit. If things go longer, we can let it go longer. But I'll try to maintain, as a moderator, I'll try to maintain the break schedule. Okay. So first up, we're going to have John Whitler talk about the WARN program, give an overview. Now, they already read your bio. Do I want to inflate your ego more by reading it again? No? Okay, so I'm going to let it go, because I think you heard John's bio earlier today. All right.
Thanks, Marvin. Was everybody in this morning's session? Yeah, okay. Good. Well, then I'm going to move through some of these slides really fast then. because I had some repeats in here, but you saw all these intro slides, talked about, why Warren's important. I think the history of Warren's really, really interesting, and I think one of the points we wanted to emphasize for people here in Hawaii is that there are 48 programs existing now that really have a lot of lessons learned to offer you all in Hawaii. And so I think there may be, instances where questions come up on how to deal with things in the agreement or operations or process or whatever. And those probably may or may not be original questions because we've been through this with all these other programs as well. So a lot of good information out there and a lot of good history with the program. This action plan really is the foundation of the process to start a WARN, and that's what we've been following. I also wanted to point out something a little different in this presentation. Something that just to consider the authority under which this agreement will be utilized. This is part of your state law is, and it may or may not be the right authority to reference, but sometimes it helps to be able to link your agreement back to that authorizing authority. So that's just one part of your state law here in Hawaii that talks about the ability for local entities to be able to sign mutual aid and assistance agreements with one another. We talked about a lot of the benefits as well this morning, so I think it's important to consider here, how WARN can enhance your existing response and preparedness measures. WARN has that ability to really enhance those abilities. So, having a contact list of other WARN members on different islands and being able to know who to call when you're in an incident, if you don't have that already. Those specialized resources, I know for a lot of utilities right now, the lead time on different parts and pieces for repairing the infrastructure can be quite lengthy. So WARN is an avenue there to shorten some of those times to get those specialized resources. And we are, in this, we live with lawyers. So we were joking yesterday, maybe there's a time period, PL, pre-lawyer or something, that we existed in at some point. But, reducing that administrative conflict is a real benefit with the agreement. So, and it's not to say that utilities wouldn't be able to respond without WARN and that the resources wouldn't be there, but we think the resources and the response time will be quicker. You'll be able to recover faster, the outage time will be less, and we're here to serve our customers and fulfill that public health mission. So I don't know, how many people have been without water at their house before for a time period? Yeah, no fun, right? So when a lot of people are experiencing that, it's not a good situation. So the faster we can get our operations back up and going, the better. And that's what we hope WARN can help enable. Just to show these 10 steps again, and I think Mike will hit on these maybe later, just to show where we are at in the process here. But we're making really good progress working through these steps. I think I've always thought that this number 8, the drafting the agreement, was really one of the key areas, and I think we're really right on the cusp of being able to start looking over the agreement and customizing that for Hawaii. So wanted to highlight that, as well as maintaining the program. Once the WARN's agreement is signed, there will be some additional steps moving forward to make sure that the agreement can function operationally and that